when you're going to walk away with deliverables and things that you could take away that's valuable to you, it's pretty cheap, actually. But yeah, I'm always open to help artists and develop artists, because that's what I enjoy doing. I've come to grips with the fact that I may never be the guy that's going to have a bunch of celebrity clients. I figured out that, I'm the booster rocket guy. When you come into the game, you need somebody who has relationships, resources, but is also somebody who's accessible. A lot of people who come into this game want to go to the biggest and brightest name right away. And in my opinion, that's really not the way to go. I think with people like yourself and myself who have resources and the ability to help artists be successful, we're the people that they should be trying to get to, because we have time to help them, versus them trying to go to a big name like a Coach K or P from Quality Control, people like that. You know what I mean? That is hot. Obviously we know QC is hot right now. And people want to necessarily go to those people, but it may not necessarily be who you need to go to if you're just stepping in the game and you started a few months back. If that makes sense.
No, it makes perfectly good sense. You brought up South by Southwest. What do you think about the cancellation and the whole trickle down effect that it has on the whole independent industry? You got not just artists who thought this was going to be their chance to be their biggest event. You had tech people who were going to be introduced in the next big thing. Stagehands who sold their services, and were going to make thousands of dollars. And all these people, all lost out, man. First, did it affect you in any way? And then, and secondly, how are you and the people that you're working with adjusting to this, where everything is pretty much going to have to be done totally online for the next 2 months?
Right. Well, first of all, let me just say, man, how bummed I am for the city of Austin. I've been to South by before, and I know that this time of year that the city of Austin relies heavily on South by Southwest revenue in the city. So that's definitely a bummer, man. But it's definitely trickled down. It's not necessarily affecting me personally because I wasn't going anyway, and none of the clients that I was personally working with were going to attend. But it's really this whole thing with the virus has affected everything. Like I said, it's already affected. One of the conferences that I'm going to be attending, New School Rules, which is I'm a official partner with New School Rules, which is the top urban conference and music conference and festival in Europe, and I'm actually working with them as a talent curator for the music festival portion of it. So that's already been postponed. So it's already affecting that. But just think about all the people who are out of work, the tour people. Everything that's getting canceled, these workers, stage people, the stage hands, everybody who had a nice chunk of income going to be coming in is completely gone now. And so, it has really affected the entertainment industry and the live shows where 95% of these artists make their money. In the live space, especially as an independent artist. You know what I mean? Because we know, even though streaming artists are making money, but it's not enough to be a huge, unless you got billions and billions of streams, it ain't enough to see really heavy checks from that. So when you have something like this happen, especially beyond, I saw today that the CDC is recommending that nobody gather in groups of 50 or more for the next 8 weeks. That's a long time, and so it's going to be affecting this greatly, man, and I don't think you'll be able to find reschedule dates for all these events. Some of them I think are just going to just have to get canceled for this year and resume next year. You know what I mean? Because, people plan this stuff out months and months and months in advance, and different things going on in these different venues and different things going on. So it really has had a really negative and unfortunate, nobody's fault, obviously, but we had an unfortunate result on our industry in entertainment. But we'll get through it. We'll be fine, and we'll bounce back, and this might be a blessing in disguise. You never know. You always got to find the silver lining and everything, and we don't know why this is happening, but it's happening,
Yeah.
So.
You said something about, like, no money in streaming, and that's a great segue to, like, one of my last questions. What do you think about Spotify, man, and the fact that they're challenging, they're basically taking songwriters and creators to court? A decision was passed down in which almost double what Spotify would have to pay out, as well as everybody. Like this was, across the line. Like everybody's rate went up, but with Spotify, it was pretty much double what they were paying, which would put them almost along the lines of like Tidal. And if Spotify paid like Tidal, it would be great, and like I know it's probably some Tidal subscribers. I love Tidal as a fan. I hate it as a label owner because like we're still waiting on money from them.
Oh wow.
And I don't know what it is or whatever, the Orchard is kind of dealing with that, behind the scenes. But I just know that they take longer to report, and they definitely take longer to pay. Now, when you're looking for great content and entertainment, like that's just next level, like Tidal and Spotify are not even in the same league, when it comes to that. And I give the edge to Tidal like leaps and bounds or whatever. But not to turn this into a Tidal versus Spotify thing. But my point is that Spotify is, I don't know when the exact court date is, I believe it's in April, that they'll be going, before the federal government to appeal a decision. And like in essence, they basically are taking songwriters and creators to court to hold on to continue paying the pennies that they're paying. So what do you think about that, man? And are you surprised that more artists, don't know about that? Like this is like what an artist doesn't realize is like what you get like for even 100,000 streams is nothing, But people be like, oh, at least I got something. Imagine getting double that. And the fact that I just don't see enough artists talking about it and tagging Spotify in it and putting pressure on them, and that's why they don't care. So they're like, we're not getting any pressure. We're as popular as ever. So what do you think about that, man?
Well, I think that's a good question, man. I think what it comes down to is not enough creatives. Not enough of them actually care about that stuff, because, again, I think people come into this game for the wrong reasons, right? They come into this game, I said everybody, but a lot of them come into this game because all they want is fame. So they're not actually looking out for the fact of, like, okay, this is intellectual property. In the world of streaming, they're paying pennies on the dollar, but nobody cares about the songwriters. They don't care about the fact, like, how is a songwriter supposed to eat off of a royalty that's paying them fractions of pennies per stream? You know what I mean? You can't eat on that. The mechanical license is 9.1 cents, and that's low enough. You know what I mean? So, again, downloads are going to go away. Eventually, everything's downloads are still here, but eventually that's going to be all the way gone, where it's going to literally have to be all streaming. So it's going to get to the point now where songwriters or artists, if they're smart, they will have to send their music directly to their audience, but still, there's no way for the government to regulate those, the kind of direct the fan situation. So I think, and I know that's why Taylor Swift, I think she still has, I don't know if she's put her songs back on Spotify, but there's a time when she had put all her whole catalog on Spotify because she was like, okay, how are the songwriters supposed to get paid from this? Because she's not really making any money from it. There's a lot of long money from that anyway. So, yeah, I think a lot of us, to be honest with you, I haven't paid as much attention to it as I probably should as somebody behind the scenes. But, yeah, it's definitely, like I said, they don't care because it's not affecting, because, I mean, Spotify is the way I listen to music. And I have a premium account on Spotify. I pay the premium because I like to have I like to be able to, not to have to worry about listening to ads or anything like that or whatever it is. So I pay the $9.
No, me too. And the thing, that's what I'm saying. Like I subscribe because they have a good platform. It's just that I know that when I'm playing my artist's music, you know what I'm saying, I'm supporting them. So, and I know that's going to show up on our bottom line, on our quarterly, whereas if I was doing Tidal, even though technically the streams are paid more, what's more of nothing? You know what I'm saying?
Right. They're not paying out, right. What's the point there? If they're not paying out, then it doesn't matter how dope and how better the quality is if they're not paying out, and none of these curators are even really, most of the playlist curators are either on Apple Music or on Spotify. I don't see a lot of Tidal curators curating for Tidal specifically because most people, Tidal is not the first place people are going to hear the music. Even though, you know what I mean? Let's just be real. They're going to YouTube, they're going to Spotify, and they're going to Apple Music or Google Play.
So,
you know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
So, yeah, man. That, just to update everybody, it was 2018, and the decision was rendered by the appeals court that basically gave, songwriters and creators a 44% raise, in regards to royalties paid through streaming services. So Amazon and Spotify are going to make their case tomorrow, and so they'll be stating their case. From what I'm getting, it doesn't look like they're going to win, but I think more should be made of the fact that they've been eating. They're eating like fat cats, and they will continue to eat like fat cats, and they don't even want to give us an inch. So I agree. Because that's why I tell people is don't be so quick to just keep putting out music, because I just feel like the rates are going to go up, and sooner or later you're going to get to a point to where some of that music you didn't put out and you didn't give away or whatever, now you can get some real, money for it. Like, look, we're not going to get to a point of a stream being the equivalent of what an album used to cost or anything like that. I mean, we'd be idiots to think that. But what's wrong with, $1 and some change, $2 for, an album stream or something like that? The streaming company still, making more. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I just wish that, they would just get to a point of being fair. They don't the record companies don't have to pay for all the stuff they used to pay for or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like if all you're doing is offering, the platform, to, don't get me wrong, you're billions of subscribers,